Good morning. I'm going to share my screen so I can have some fun pictures to show.
Great, thank you.
It's just a website, so it's good morning, everybody. My name is Sara Johnson. Many of you I probably have interacted with in some capacity in the last few years. I run a program called, or I have a business called Wild Rose Education, and then I run a program called the Youth Water Leadership Program. And I also get to teach classes at Western, which is super cool. It's one of my favorite parts of the year. And so and I've also been instrumental in helping with this water workshop last year with the switch and design of it into something more engaging. So I hope to be part of that again in the future, as hopefully we get to be in person. But I just wanted to bring some things to your attention and show them to you so that if you know somebody, maybe you have a connection with a teacher in your community, or maybe you yourself are interested about some upcoming possibilities, and then I'll share a really big pivot with going virtual. There's a big pivot that's allowing us to do some more things with folks across the entire Upper Colorado basin. So first of all, these are a couple of the classes that we're going to be Big White Van University van field trip courses, but now they're a virtual experience. There's the Public Lands of the United States. That should be called Public Lands and Waters, because it definitely includes that. It's a course that will be taught through the lens of through a strong lens of equity and inclusion, and thinking about Native people and what do public lands mean. And so it's really it's designed for educators so that they then have the tools like like high school educators, or everybody's welcome. But it's definitely not a Dr. Melanie Armstrong level of a course. It's more of a, she's the ultimate expert. This is an opportunity to get your hands on a curriculum that you may be able to use with other people that you interact with, because there's a brand new curriculum out there that is really, really cool. So we'll be meeting in June virtually, and there'll be some on your own field trips that you have to go do wherever you live. And it still should be really, really good and full of engaging discussions and very little talk at you through Zoom presentations. The next thing is the program that's been going on for, I guess this is its fourth year, is the Western Rivers Teacher Workshops. And of course, in a virtual setting, that's turned into something quite different. But again, there's some going virtual, there's just new opportunities that I'd never really considered. And so with that, we've merged into 1-2 credit class, again, geared towards those middle school and high school educators from anywhere across the country now. I mean, and there's people that have registered from, I think, Michigan at this point, and Colorado and other states. So if you know anybody that needs some graduate credit for a really affordable price, these 2 courses will hopefully be really fun. And I've been like I said, figuring out how to create some on your own field trips, go explore the riparian zone within a 10-mile drive of your house, wherever that may be. So it's a grand experiment. We'll see what happens. The other thing is another workshop for educators, and I would say educators and anybody who's maybe a mentor of young people. So you may be a professional engineer or a professional water policy person, but you know some kids who need a mentor and need a project. And so there's another workshop that's in August that's all about issue investigation, and how do you help young people explore a concern in the realm of rivers, water, and climate change, and then actually go through the whole process of issue investigation and come up with a call to action presentation that they will then share with policymakers. And so that's a teacher workshop that's happening in August, and all of this is findable. You can find all this at wildroseeducation.com. That's the website I'm sharing with you. So those are the 3 big professional development opportunities. There's also tangentially a Leave No Trace course that's gone virtual. So if that's interesting to you, it's there as well. But the thing that's even more exciting, well, I don't know if it's more exciting, it's maybe more applicable, is this, the Youth Water Leadership Program is this program that gets young people doing what I just described, getting from truly what do young people care about, what are their concerns in the world, to coming up with some kind of suggestion or solution that they share with policy and decision makers. And in the past, it's always been done through a big Youth Water Summit where that's the end all be all event. And last year we had 15 policymakers come, everybody from staff people from Congress, our congressmen's offices, both Tipton and Bennett's office were at our summit, and we had 150 kids or 130 kids, and the kids were talking to the staffers from their offices all the way to the county commissioners, to the town mayor, to the CWCB board, I guess, and everybody in between. And it's really cool, and it's been really great. And now we're probably not going to put 200 people in a room in December. That's probably not going to happen. So, but what I'm thinking now, and what I have yet to put out on a website, because it hasn't happened yet because it's pivoting, takes a lot of time, but is that there could be participation from Gunnison and Grand Junction and Durango and the entire upper Colorado Basin. Students that are interested, I would say young people, they do not have to do this within the context of their school. They might be a homeschool group, they might be just some neighborhood kids, they might be club, they might just be a few friends, but kids can participate. I'd say high school kids, and they will be able to join a virtual class that meets like at 5 o'clock every other week starting in September, and I will coach them through that process of going from their concerns to a solution. And yesterday I was talking to a woman down in Tucson, so it may be bigger than the upper Colorado Basin. And the idea is that there will be hopefully at least a couple teams from each region of the basin that can create a call to action and then make a video, and then we'll get those out to policymakers and make a big celebration of all their work. And so the invitation is for you, if you want to be a mentor and you know about at least 2 high school kids, there could be 4 kids on a team. It really is, it just depends on the situation. But if you know of some kids and you want to be a mentor and you want to keep track of those kids, that's what being a mentor means, is making sure they are following through and showing up and going along that process. You're basically playing coach. And let me know, I should put my email in the chat box here in a second, and I will put you on my list so that as I roll out all the details and can explain this even better, you will be alerted and invited. And so far, I know there's people up in Steamboat who are super interested. I know there's somebody in Grand Junction who's super interested. And it's not through the schools necessarily. The people I know about are non-formal educators at environmental education or science centers. So anything is possible, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And I think that it will be a great way to include folks in Gunnison, because I've had people in Gunnison ask me, how can we bring this program here? And so it's a grand experiment. And I'll put my email in the chat in a second. And any questions or thoughts or comments or I don't know. I like Zoom because I can see everybody. I really like it when everybody's videos are on, because that's the culture of Zoom. And I love it when people have a conversation as opposed to just being talked at. So tell me I'm curious what you think.
There was one question in the chat that was asking, would these classes be appropriate for community education, not necessarily K through 12 instruction?
So I'm assuming you're talking about the educator workshops. And yes, the educator work, especially the public lands, well, all of it. If you're a creative person, and I'm a capable person, you could take this curriculum that I will be sharing and you could make it applicable for any audience that you interact with, whether a community audience or yeah, absolutely. And the public lands curriculum that I'll be sharing and you'll have access to absolutely is appropriate for a community audience. So yeah.
Awesome. And then Dr. Sellen said he had a comment. So Dr. Sellen, if you want to jump in.
Jeff might not be able to. Yeah,
I think I just got it. Did that work?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah, for all the work you do. Sarah was really instrumental in thinking through the first iteration of the Western Water Future Games last year, and I'm sure she'll be involved in the future. And she's really very creative in her approach to education and curriculum development. So I strongly encourage you to consider these courses if you are a formal educator or informal. I think there are lots of opportunities there. So
Thanks, Jeff.
thank you, Sarah, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. And as I just put in the chat box all 3 different things if you want to cut and paste those. And like I said, send me an email if you want to be included on that group mentoring for the Youth Water Leadership Program, or just want to be in the know. So thank you, Jeff, for the time to do that.
There was one follow-up question about those courses and asking would the material be available in Spanish?
It's a wonderful question. The materials are not, I don't have materials available in Spanish. I mean, I would say that there are some. If you, like, Project WET has a national program, has materials, and they have been translated into Spanish. But what I will say is that some of those national programs, they have the capacity to have them printed in Spanish or produced in Spanish. But what I will say is that everything that, the way that I do things and the way I teach is very much culturally responsive teaching, meaning that there's a lot of strategies around pedagogy that you can use that are very inclusive, that even if you're not a native English speaker, you can still be engaged. So I try to model those in sheltered instruction and culturally responsive teaching and so forth. So I've had people in the courses tell me that the things they have learned from these educator workshops, they're like, this is amazing. I can use this with my ELL students so easily because it's not based in text and words. It's based in exploration and observations and drawings and so forth. So I hope that's helpful. But I'm glad you asked the question.
Thank you so much, Sarah. We appreciate you feeding that information. And if you don't have anything else, I think we'll start on with our introduction for our next presenters. Thank you. All right.